Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Annie and this is Unity Consciousness. Thank you so much for stopping by today. I'd like to welcome our new subscribers and also thank those of you returning for this week's energy update. Let's jump right in. This week we will be managing some complicated or complex energy early in this week, which is going to set us up for some significant energy over the course of this weekend and, to be honest, kicking off a period of time that could be very chaotic. So I would like to call this video preparations, because we are going to be making preparations on many levels. So it starts tomorrow. Venus in the sign of Virgo is going to quincunx the North Node in Aries. Quincunx energy quite often isn't even spoken about. It's two different elements, energies trying to find comfort in working together, and you kind of have to pivot in order for that to occur. When it comes to these lunations and what they're trying to do, this is pivots born from the discernment or details, because Venus is in Virgo, that help us align with with our life's purpose, right? That's the North Node in Aries, in our true essence. Then just 2 days later, the energy is going to become complicated, even more so. On the 14th, we have Mercury, which is retrograde in the sign of Virgo. Right at the beginning of Virgo is going to quincunx Pluto at the very beginning of Aquarius. So we're pivoting again, varying energies, elements, trying to figure out what works best, okay? These are pivots that are born from the reconciliation of details or discernment. We're talking about Mercury and Virgo. And the authenticity of a situation, Pluto and Aquarius. The authenticity, it's a litmus test to see what, if we look at the details, we use our discernment, we look at the details, is there authenticity here, or their facades, okay? Then also on that same day, Mars is going to conjunct Jupiter in the sign of Gemini, which is great energy, truly great energy, very optimistic energy. Your mind could be spinning because, again, Jupiter in the sign of Gemini is expanding on thoughts. It's great ideas, it's expressions. And with Mars there, it adds all this passion to that. It could be very much over the top optimism though, so be mindful here. Keep those mental spins in check as well. This could be very just over the top energy, because shortly thereafter, Mercury in retrograde is going to re-enter Leo at an erratic degree. It's a good time to root or ground yourself in heart, consciousness, energy, and step away from wanting to be the know-it-all or the loudest person in the room, has the most to say, blah, 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 that sort of thing. Then the very next day, which is the 15th, we will have Mercury, which is retrograde in Leo now. Keep in mind, 29 degrees, 56 minutes, is going to quincunx Neptune. Here we are pivoting again, trying to make this energy work. So far this week, we have been trying to reconcile, Venus and the North Node. Then it's Mercury and Pluto. Then Mars conjuncts Jupiter and gives us all these wild ideas, these great ideas, and the momentum that we need to get things done. And now Mercury, going back into the sign of Leo as part of its retrograde cycle, is quincunxing Neptune in Pisces. And these are pivots, again, pivoting again, born out of a place of, heart-centered consciousness. Now Mercury's in Leo, so that we can see through illusions. There might be what you think is some clarity, but remember, Mercury's in retrograde. So we don't have all the answers yet. That's what makes it so complicated this week. We may think we know, but then we don't. And then we might have another hint that we might know, and then we don't. So just be mindful of that. Now, shortly after this quincunx, when we're pivoting, trying to figure out this energy, this is where we're going to have this wonderful trine between Chiron, which is in Aries retrograde, and the Sun in Leo. I really like this energy. It's healing, the manifestation of healing, it's your true essence, though, that's healing, because Chiron's in Aries, and you may feel like you've been heard, or you're going to be heard, perhaps, and that you are worthy of love. Root in this energy, great energy for self-care. Get yourself a bath going and, just relax a little bit. I enjoy this energy very much. Now on the 16th, we will have Mars, which is in the sign of Gemini, and conjunct Jupiter. Remember that, they're still conjunct, is going to square Saturn retrograde in Pisces. And I want to draw you back to a video that was done near the end of, let me see if I find the date. Yeah, the 23rd, actually, the 23rd of June. There was a video done, Saturn retrograde in Pisces. And if you follow me, you would remember this chart that I did at that time. Love the ingenuity. Anyway, there was a very important message about authenticity. And what Saturn's retrograde cycle in Pisces was teaching us relative to self-sabotage. Are we dealing with reality or fiction? So please, if you need more clarity on Saturn retrograde cycle, it's so important to understand this, because Mars is going to square Saturn while it's conjunct Jupiter. And then Jupiter is going to conjunct, because it's not exact yet, but Jupiter, because it moves a little slower, is going to square Saturn on Monday, and then we're going to have Venus join the party by opposing Saturn. So that authenticity, that need to understand self-sabotage, and if that's something that you're participating in and it hasn't been healed, this square, the square between Mars and Saturn, that then Jupiter and Mars are conjunct, but Mars moves faster. So Mars is going to square Saturn first, then Jupiter shortly thereafter. But this energy really comes as a grouping together. You might feel it even as one fell swoop, not necessarily little pieces here and there, just wham, a whole lot of indecision all at once. A lot of frustration requiring you to make a decision. This goes back to December 2020. Back in December of 2020 was the Grand Conjunction. That was at the time when Saturn and Jupiter were conjunct in the very early degrees of Aquarius. We were asked at that time to embrace authenticism, embrace humanitarianism, to birth new earth with the idea that we would care for each other from a humanitarian standpoint. This is our first quarter check-in, right? So the planets are conjunct. Then, as you know, one travels faster than the other. So Jupiter's moving along, Saturn's slightly moving, Jupiter, well, boom, now they're at the 90-degree angle. And we are pivoting back to take a look at how we're doing with that new earth concept of humanitarianism. Minding each other, but also taking good care of ourselves. So this check-in is asking us to review our decisions and actions and motivation. Whatever topic comes up for you, and I promise there will be no hiding on this one, whatever topic comes up for you, go back to your effort. Was the effort authentic? Was the need for your effort authentic? And if it was, let's take a look at self-sabotage. Let's see if it wasn't, let's look at that self-sabotage. It might be time for you to step away from something. It might be time for you to heal something. So if you find yourself also in a place of incessant spinning, it is time to release yourself from that incessant spinning. And you can do that by practicing self-care and digging into what it is about this square. What it is. Saturn wants you to pause for purpose so we can see where there are any areas of self-sabotage. Remember, we've got Venus speaking with the North Node, right? And Chiron's also in Aries. So where are we self-sabotaging our own true essence? It's getting real. We're having to look at it, and I hate to say, but it's going to continue. The intensity is going to continue. On the 18th, we have Mercury, which is retrograde in the sign of Leo, is going to square Uranus. Now, we've had this before on the 21st of July. Now Uranus is conjunct Algol at 27 degrees of Taurus, right? There could be some shocking or surprising news, just like on the 21st of July. Be patient, because we still have one more square to go. These lunations will square again on the 7th of September. What's interesting, though, on the 21st of July, when the first square took place, Mercury was in shadow, right? Then we've got the second square, which is on the 18th, and we have Mercury retrograde. Then the next and final square on the 7th of September, we will have Uranus square and Mercury in shadow. So there's more to come here. Be mindful of your words. If you hear shocking information or you receive information that is quite pivotal, sit with that energy. Be patient. Be free, because whenever you're dealing with Uranian energy, it's freeing. It wants you to be authentic and honest always. But we don't quite have all the info. So be mindful of your words. Be patient. And relative to thoughts and communications, for sure, we also don't want to be the one that's speaking and saying something that leaves everyone aghast. Make sure it's authentic, please, please, please. Well, that's all I have for you this week, but I do have to tell you, we'll have a big update next week on Sunday, because we will have a Cazimi on that day, on Monday, the 19th. We'll have a Cazimi on that day. We have a full moon in the sign of Aquarius, which will be squaring Uranus. And we've got a mutable T-square between Jupiter, Mars, Venus, and Saturn, which we touched on, that will come into perfection. And we will also have a fixed T-square. Yeah, then that's going to be Uranus squaring the moon, so moon and sun. So we've got a lot to talk about next week. Make preparations this week. I also have to tell you, without becoming an alarmist, just be prepared. This has a signature of probably lockdown, or at least stifling of some kind. So let's be mindful. We've been through this before, where we have been in a lockdown situation. Just make sure we're prepared without hoarding. Again, be mindful. Let's be prepared. We're preparing, the energy's preparing us. Let's physically be prepared also for some very tumultuous energy to come in. Well, I decided to use the Field Tarot deck, because I'm trying to get some equilibrium, if that's at all possible. So I wanted to take a look at the Field, and this is Hannah Elizabeth Fofana, and boy, this card jumped right out, and it is so appropriate. This is the Two of Swords. It's called Decisions. The Two of Swords represents two opposing forces that present a difficult choice. If avoided, no progress will be made, and you may find yourself stuck. There could be more than meets the eye, so ponder the options carefully with both the head and the heart. Keywords: crossroads, confusion, stalemate, options, impasse, and balance. I really do like Mercury going back into Leo. That's going to integrate that the heart energy and the head energy. So let's be patient with ourselves and others this week. And I hope you have a fabulous week yourself. Before we do that, if you like this video, please do click the like button. If you know someone that could be helped by this video, please do co-create with me and share it with them. If you have any comments or questions, any suggestions, post them in the comment box below. And if you want to know when videos are being dropped, click the subscribe button. I thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you have a fabulous week of preparations, patience, and wonderment. Namaste.